First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Min. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Tupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of the water offering today, the Avantara Nagarjuna Bodhisattva. Simu Tutan Siddhi Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the webcast, and our participating VIPs today are Republic China Missions in Sweden, Norway, Ambassador Mr. Daniel Liao and Mrs. Liao, Chief Secretary of Taiwan Government Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng, from Academia Sinica Dr. Zhu and Mrs. Zhu, Law Advisor of a True Buddha Foundation, Lawyer Zhou Huifang, Lawyer Luo Liang, and Lawyer Huang Yueqing, Professor members and medical groups of True Buddha School, National Taiwan Sports University, the Principal Mr. Gao, the representative of legislator Mr. Wu Zhiyang, it's Mr. Lian, Chief Secretary of Taoyuan City, Mr. Li, Director of the Civil Bureau in Taoyuan City, Ms. Tang, Director of a Civil Bureau in Nantou County, Ms. Wu, Malaysia Datu Mr. Lei Fangyi, Mrs. Lei, Malaysia Datu Mr. Li Haian, Mrs. Li, and their daughters Li Qi and Li Xueli. Chief of the Seminar on Malaysia's Buddhist Civilization. From Indonesia, Dadeng Culture. The chairman, Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng. From Australia, Taiping gentleman, Mr. Liang. From Brazil, University St. Paul's, the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Chen and Mrs. Chen. From Brazil, Lotus Light Language Center, Confucius Classrooms, the Principal, Dr. Qi, and Vice Principal, Ms. Liang. The representative of Hawaii, USA in Taiwan, the Director Bureau, Mr. Lei. From America, Atlanta, Dr. Zhou Han and Dr. Lin Shuhua. From America, Guan, the General Manager of Pacific Villa, Ms. Zheng.
United States, California, Los Angeles, for smoker.
And from Canada, Dr. Zheng Olivia. From Sweden, Xiu Detang. Chinese Dr. Luo. From United Arab Emirates, the presidents of Greenfield Groups, Ms. Lin and Mr. Chen. From Hsinchu, a temple, Huayi Cixinge, the abbot, Mr. Zhang, and Ms. Liu. From Taiwan, the entertaining artist, Mr. Tai, and sand sculptor, Mr. Wang, wood sculptor, Mr. Jian.
My university, same classmate, 朱金水先生及夫人陈哲霞女士，还有王定平先生。
From Lotus Light Charity Society and the producer of Great Perfection in Havaja, the producer Vaja Master Lian Yue, and the host Dharma Sister Pei Jun. The host of TV program Lamde and Sutra Prefect Vaja Master Lian Hai, Master Lian He, and Master Lian Jia. The producer of the TV program from CDI TV, Illuminating Your Heart, Rebecca Xu.
My family and the Simon family are 全体家眷。另外，台北市议员王心怡小姐。
From Taipei City Council, Miss Wang.
Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
大家午安，大家好。你好，大家好。唔該晒。Selamat siang, selamat petang. Good afternoon and domo konnichiwa. Sawadika, kamsahamnida.
This is greetings in all different languages.
Hola, amigo. Te quiero mucho. Skoyin. Sauji. Merci beaucoup. Doichi. Thank you for coming. Every person, every people, every person. 今天我们在这里做水供。
Today we perform the water offering here of Nagarjuna as the main deity. And this water offering was transmitted to me by my own Yidam, the Golden Mother. So in Tributa school, we have the water offering that was instructed by Golden Mother. This is very unique and special that it doesn't exist in other schools. And today, the first that appeared was Golden Mother of the primordial Jitpan. And then is something that I would never thought of. Guess who appeared earlier? So let me just say it then. Sakyamuni Buddha, the fundamental teacher. And Mahakashyapa and Ananda that were alongside him. And also Sariputra and Maudagana Kalyana. And the third group that appeared that was Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, which is the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud, self-mastery king, and also Aryadeva Bodhisattva. And also the patriarchs of Madhyamaka, which is Bhivaveka, and also Buddha Palita, and also Padmasambhava, Guru Padmasambhava, and Ishichoka and Mandarawa. And the next one that appeared was Guru Narupa and Marpa. And then Tsongkhapa. And then the last one that appeared. Guess who? So can you guess? You can guess by looking, by having a real vision, or by feeling, or by divine eye. Padma Kumara. So at this grand ceremony, see how many Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, Prateka Buddhas, all of them, including Golden Mother, who appeared first. Golden Mother of the primordial Jitpan, the Venerable Golden Mother.
我昨天我讲过，
Yesterday, I have said
我这一生啊，
that in this life,
刚开始一种从小学一直到高中，
from elementary school all the
我
way
都
to
信
high
仰的
school,
是基督教。
my faith was
我本身是基督教，
Christianity. I
我
was a
是
Christian.
新约前书、旧约前书
So the
我
old
研究，
books and the
那
new
时候是
books
查
of the
经班的老
Bible,
师，
I researched them all.
马太、马可、
Matthew, Mark,
路加、
Lucas, John,
使徒行传，
and the
我
Corinthians.
是念这个圣经啊。
Those were from the Bible.
那么旧约呢，从创世纪开始，
And in the old
创世纪
books,
开始，
from the Genesis,
我是研究圣经的。那时候我
I
尊
studied
敬
the
两个人，
Bible. And at that
一个是
time,
伊利亚，
I highly
一个是伊丽莎。
revere Elia and Eliza,
告
the
诉大
two
家，
prophets.
耶稣从喜马
So
拉
let
雅
me
山
know,
下来的时候，
when Jesus Christ came
穿着
down
白色
from
的
the Himalaya,
袈裟，
he wore the white robe,
他更换的就是我们的喇嘛装，红色的袈裟。
and
他
then
只有这两套袈
he
裟，
also had
一个
another
白色的
set
袈
of
裟，
the
是
llama
藏
colored
密的白
llama
胶，
robe.
红色的
So
袈
he
裟
had these
也是
two
藏密
color
白胶，
robes.
也一样穿红
So
色的袈
The
裟。
white robe belongs to the white sect or Kagyupa,
耶
and the
稣来
red
到一
robe
条
also
河，
belong to the white sect.
有一位
So
施洗的约
Jesus
翰
went to a river,
帮他施洗。
and there was
耶稣
someone
讲
that helped him
现在
bathe
我
and
是要
clean.
施洗的约翰来给我施洗，
Oh, God the
施洗的约翰就变成
got baptized, and John, who gave the baptism to
耶稣的
him,
咕噜，
became
帮
his
他做
guru.
洗礼。
So he
那时
baptized
候
him.
天门打开，
At that time, the heaven's gate
这个
opened,
上主啊讲了一句话：
and God said,
这是我喜爱的，这
"This
是我
is
的
my
神子，
beloved,
我的儿子，
God's
我
son,
所喜爱的。
my beloved."
我清清楚楚到现在，我明白，
Until now, I'm very clear
伊利亚施洗的约翰的前世
that
就是
Elijah
伊利亚，
baptized
耶
John
稣本身的前世
in the past
就是
life,
他的弟子伊丽莎。
and Jesus was Eliza, which was
世
Elias'
界上
disciple.
知道这一段，
On earth, there are only very few people know about this.
几乎没有轮回，不是上天堂就是下
So in Christianity nowadays, there's no reincarnation. You either go to heaven or go to hell.
也转世
But
到新约里面来。
But the figures in the old books of Bible reincarnated to be figures in the new books.
三
So
轮即空
Jesus also taught Buddha Dharma, and what Buddha Dharma was it?
右手
Are
做
that
的
the
事
three wheels are
不能让
intrinsically
左手
empty,
知道，
that you should
右
not
手做
let
的善事
the left hand knows about all the good deeds that you have done with the right hand.
这表示啊，
So that
归于空，
means that everything
做善事
return to
全部要
emptiness.
归于空。
That when you do charity or good deeds, everything return to emptiness. So Jesus also taught Buddha
教
Dharma.
里面的佛法，他
So the Buddha Dharma in Tantrayana,
密教里面有很多的师父，
they often
有广大的
there are many gurus in Tantrayana
大的
that have great transcendent or supernatural power or paranormal
无
power.
所不在。
They can be everywhere, omnipresent.
耶稣曾经这样子讲过，
Jesus once said
是无所不在。
that God is omnipresent. Wherever you are,
他都听得见，
you can pray to Him and He can hear you.
听到你所说。
He can hear your prayers, your words.
所以今天我跟大家讲，
So today, I would like to let you know a verse.
你只要真诚的祈祷，
As long as you pray in
你就会得
sincerity,
到感应。
then you would get the response.
我为什么称龙树菩萨？称他
Why did I call Nagarjuna Bodhisattva Avatar? Nagarjuna Bodhisattva.
你们看过电影
Have you watched the movie Avatar? Avatar.
阿凡达是什么身份？
Avatar. So what is that? An incarnate divine teacher.
翻译成为半神人，
So in the West,
他是
it's
介于世俗的，
translated as a half god.
他本身有神性。
So there's the
世俗的人，
the God nature in a
但
mundane
是
being.
我们有佛性，
So we are also mundane beings, but we have Buddha nature.
这个就是阿凡达了。
So that's avatar. Avatar.
阿凡达了，
Avatar.
非常的重要。
This is extremely important.
它是宇宙的至上意识。
So
我们刚刚这个
it's also the utmost consciousness
他讲，
of the universe. Like just now, the Professor Zhu
至上的
said,
意识
the utmost consciousness
变成有形，
and the formless
哎，无形
combined
变成
become the
有
form.
形觉得很奇怪，
Isn't that strange? How come the formless
本来就没有，
become
变成
forms?
有形？
Because formless
我
was
现在请问你，
non-existent before.
我们读过物理、化学的，就知道这个
So, but if you have studied physics, you would
有
know.
质子、有电子。
So there are
请问
atoms
你，你看得到中子吗？
and ions
你
and
看得到电子吗？你看得到质子吗？
electrons and
看得到
the
原子吗？
protons and but can you see them?
你看得到吗？
Everything inside the
哪里看得
atoms?
到的？举手。
So if you can see it, please raise your hand.
没有人举手，表示大家都看不到。
But nobody raised their hands. That means you cannot see them, right? Maybe only
查
XX
查好厉害哦
can see it.
看场电影哦。哎，电影很精彩啊。他既然累垮了，就睡着了。
And X went to see a movie. The movie was good, but she fell asleep.
电影结束了，他醒过来了。
And then she woke up at the end of the
别
movie,
人问他，
and
是不是
the one who accompanied her asked,
你既然在
"This was such a wonderful
你不要小看我。
action-filled movie. How come you fall asleep?" And she said, "Oh, please don't undermine me. I've went to the planets."
这个什么火星探测器到火星去造了，
So really, the U.S. doesn't have to
造
send
了好几年才
the shuttles to go to Mars and to orbit several
就
rounds.
造外星球。
But our XX could just go to the planets
要不要
in the
来
movie
要不要来
theater.
测验
So, but let me tell you, should we test her? What kind of test? It's very simple. We often play the dice, like 3 dice. And the gamble god gets out, and you place the cup with the dice inside it. So if you have the paranormal power, so let me tell you, what are the numbers? So if you have paranormal power, then let's test this. So if you are accurate 3 times, then you really have paranormal power. But if you fail, then you can just scoot out. So if you have the paranormal power, then you would be able to pass that. So you said that you went to the Mars. That's so, but you said that you have this paranormal power. Let me ask you. So we can also ask, like, how many of the battleships in a certain place, and you have to be accurate. So if you have that power, then you can be accurate. So let me ask again, that in the People's Republic of China, the same, like how many the military ships there. So if you fail that test, then you should just scoot out and get out of here. In the future, when I see XX, let me tell you that you fake your supernatural power. We can just simply do a competition. Very simple. What should we compare? So what should we compare? But with a simple test, I can tell if you're fake or you're a real one. She often said that she can talk to all the animals, every animal, all kinds of animals. But she cannot talk to a human being. Like she cannot talk to a Japanese. Because she cannot understand Japanese. Wakaru means understand. Wakaranai means you don't understand. So she doesn't understand Japanese at all.
所有动物都可以讲话。
So she cannot talk to human beings, but she can talk to the animals. How can you believe that? Spanish? Hola amigo, te quiero mucho.
你碰到西班牙人，你也不能讲话。
So you can
都不能
talk
讲你可以跟所有的动物讲
to the
话。
Spaniards. So you can't even talk to different people. How can you talk to the
当然
animals?
是规则，没有办法。
That's total nonsense.
我讲龙树菩萨讲到哪里去了？
I was talking about Nagarjuna, and where have I gone? I've gone
龙
in
树菩
tangent.
萨妙音自在王佛
So Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud self-mastery king,
所讲的，
just now, like in the Kung Fu novels,
这个叫做武侠小说里面有
what is this
讲
called?
到，一个人跟一个人讲话，但是别人听不到的。
So like
小说里面叫
someone speaks or talks to another someone, but without other people hearing it. So you can
他跟我
just transport the sound without anybody else hearing it.
500
And he said, 500 years
莲华生大师
as a period,
莲华生大师是释迦牟尼佛灭后
it
出生
started from Guru Padmasambhava, because Guru Padmasambhava was born after Sakyamuni Buddha entered into Parinirvana. So 500 years after Guru Padmasambhava, that's the birth of Nagarjuna Bodhisattva.
龙树菩萨后500年
And then 500 years after Nagarjuna Bodhisattva,
是那罗巴尊者出生，
that was the birth of Naropa.
应该在比他之前的，也就是地瓦巴。
And before Naropa, that was the birth of Virupa.
是那罗巴
And then Naropa.
莲华生大士
Guru Padmasambhava,
这个龙树菩萨
Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, Virupa,
那罗巴，
and then Naropa,
再来是中科巴，
and then Tsongkhapa,
再来是
and then Sheng-Yen Lu.
五
So about 500 years.
千
And for total, for about 2,600 years.
他偷偷这样子跟我讲哦，你要想一想哦，
So he secretly told me this.
当然不会那么准是500年。
Of course, not exactly 500 years, but about 500 years.
莲华生大士、
Guru Padmasambhava,
龙树菩萨、
Nagarjuna,
地瓦巴、
Virupa,
那罗巴、
Naropa,
中卡巴
Tsongkhapa,
到卢胜念，
and then Sheng-Yen
这
Lu.
个相隔接近500年。
That's about 500 years between each.
这个就是真正的传承。
That's the true lineage.
莲华生大士，你知道吗？
Do you know
达
Guru Padmasambhava was
莲花里面化身的一个
born from a lotus on the Dhanakosha
真正的
ocean
莲花种子
or Dhanakosha lake.
化身的种子，
He was a true lotus-born, lotus youth, Padmakumbhara, that was born from a lotus.
那我昨天我讲，
Yesterday,
尊
I have said, Grandmaster Lu,
在瑶池金母给我开了天眼以后，
after Golden Mother opened my divine eye,
当天晚上
that evening, that night,
天游天上经，
I traveled throughout all the heavens I went back to Mahatwin Lotus Ponds, and Golden Mother secretly told me that's Padma Kumara. She pointed to a bright glob of light and said, that's Padma Kumara, lotus youth or lotus born, with no form. It's just pure light that's bright and radiant, shining. And that's my biggest motivating factor in my Dharma propagation. And Golden Mother told me that that was your past life. Look clearly, see, that was your past life. And I saw it clearly. If I fabricated this, in Taiwanese, Holan, if I was making it up, I did not vow yesterday, but now I vow if it was a lie, then I would rather be struck by the thunder, fall into hell, and never to get out of it. So, X, where were you from? Do you dare to make a vow? Struck by the 5 thunders and fall into hell without ever getting out of it. I dare to say it today. This is extremely important. But now let's talk about Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka. So we can also practice Nagarjuna deity yoga because we have his mudra. That's the Dharma teaching mudra, or the Dharma wheel, turning the Dharma wheel mudra. So let me form it for you to see. So that's the inner turning of the Dharma wheel, outer turning of the Dharma wheel mudra, and also the special mudra of Nagarjuna. So that what the statues or the statue that you see today is forming the mudra of turning the Dharma wheel and the mantra. So the utmost consciousness of the universe, the one with the greatest wisdom, Nagarjuna, and let it be accomplished. That's the meaning of the mantra. Naga means dragon, and Arjuna, Juna, is the name of a tree. In India, there's a tree that's called Jana. So Om, the utmost consciousness of the universe, Nagarjuna with the greatest wisdom, Bodhisattva, Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, and Amen, or let it all be accomplished. That's his mantra. So do you know how to visualize Nagarjuna? Very simple. He looks like a Buddha, like the Buddha. and form the mudra of the turning the Dharma wheel. But above his head is very special 7 dragons or 7 nagas with different colors. And 7 means perfect. Why 7 is perfect? Very simple. In 1 week we have 7 days. There's not the 8th day, so 7 of course is perfect. Why he's accompanied by 7 dragons? Because he's perfect and have attainments. So in Genesis of the old books of Bible, God created heaven and earth, and he did it from the 1st to the 6th day, and he rested on the 7th day, and there was no 8th day. First day he created until the 6th day, and on the 7th day he rested. So nowadays you have 2-day weekends. You rest for 2 days. So however you say it, you take break for 2 days. So that means you're slacking off. See, God did not slack off, but people are slacking off these days. If it were me, I would work 7 days a week. I'd never slack off. I want to be more diligent, because Nagarjuna was the guru of 1,000 treatises. He's written 1,000 of them. He was truly knowledgeable. Who can compare to Nagarjuna? He was the patriarch of the 8 schools of both Mahayana and Tantrayana. Who could compare to him? No one in Buddhism. That Nagarjuna Bodhisattva is a great Bodhisattva, a guru of the 8 schools. And in his past, he was the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud self-mastery king. And then we have visualization, mudra, and mantra that would comprise the deity yoga. And just now you also saw on the screen the ocean and lotus, and at the center there's sun and moon disk, and how it transformed into Nagarjuna. The pang syllable transformed to become lotus, and syllable transformed to become Nagarjuna. And then the empowerments of the 3 lights upon yourself. Once you're purified, then you can invite Nagarjuna to enter into your own heart, on the lotus at your heart. Once he enters into you and you're in union with him, in the split of a second you become Nagarjuna, and Nagarjuna is you, and you are Nagarjuna. Then you yourself become the patriarch or the guru of the 8 schools, and then you also become the Buddha of the marvelous cloud with self-mastery king. So in our spiritual cultivation, the most important thing is to be in union with Nagarjuna. The reporters earlier asked me, so how Nagarjuna, what Nagarjuna means to you? And I replied, I'm learning his spirit. So let me tell you, Lao Tzu in Taoism was remarkable. Never did you think that he spoke this statement. So, seemingly, amidst the fuzziness or mistiness, but inside it there are things. So, since Zhuteng City is looking at me, now please stand up. What is the thing? Just say something. Doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. You should not just look. You should also open your mouth. Say something. Please say something. Please say something. Please say loudly. Buddha nature.
Very good.
Very good. In the future, if you give Dharma teaching, you should talk louder. You shouldn't be scared. So Lao Tzu was remarkable. He said that seemingly or in a haze there are things. So Madhyamaka is also like this. So you find the thing of the Madhyamaka. So Madhyamaka is a viewpoint, a concept, and you have to find the thing. So in my book, I have written an analogy. In the ancient time, there is you create fire by rubbing a wood. So, and you continually to rub until eventually the fire is ignited. That's also how we ignite our inner fire, or tumo. So let me ask you. So is the fire on the hand of the person who is rubbing the wood or turning the wood? No. There is no fire on his hand. Is it on the wood? No. Is it on the pointed wood or on the wood that the pointed wood's rubbing against? Then the fire is not anywhere. So where did the fire come from? Now let me ask the masters. If I call on your name, please stand up. Okay, let me see who's looking at me. Now nobody dare to look at me. So, Hui Jin, please stand up. Now let me ask you, where did the fire come from? From the emptiness, empty nature. That's a great, it's far off. That's not basic, and that's not my answer. So the fire comes from Buddha nature, from emptiness, from sunyata. Yeah, maybe so. But let me tell you, it came from causes and conditions, from affinity, from the conditions. So the hand and the rubbing wood, and then the block wood, and then the combination of these three, and by rubbing it, the fire appears. So that's affinity. So what she said about emptiness is, at the beginning, the start was emptiness, like the space or the sky, that was emptiness. And when the affinity or the causes and conditions mature, then Master Huijin appears. Then Master Huijin was born. But because you love ice cream and you ate until you have this figure now, so the other day when you fell, you could not get up. Grandmaster, when Grandmaster fell, I could still get up. But Master Huijun, when he fell, he could not get up on her own. It was like the turtle at the back of his shell. And Sumu was trying to lift her up. It's like a skinny cat was trying to eat a fat rat. And then finally she got up, and nobody felt bad for her. Instead, everybody laughed heartily. I didn't see it, but when I heard it, I found it funny too. That's cause and effect, causes and conditions. So you are what you eat, and you love to eat the pig's feet. So let me tell you, that's the start of the affinity. And Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka is like this. At the 6th century in India, the Yogacara was popular. And Yogacara was also discussing Buddha nature. From the 5 aggregates of the 6 senses, eyes, ear, nose, tongue, touch, mind, consciousness, and alaya, which embed the Buddha nature, that's depth. And Nagarjuna is horizontal or broad. So at that time, the Yogacara school was very popular. And at that time, there were 2 gurus. One is Buddha Palita, and the other one is Bhivaveka, who commented on Nagarjuna's and Aryadeva's commentaries. And they created Buddha Palita, founded Prasangika Madhyamaka, and Bivaveka founded the Sautantrika Madhyamaka. In my book, I wrote that Prasangika is that it's not established on the emptiness, but it uses the so one is use logic to determine the emptiness, and the other one is use comparison, which is also part of logic. I was talking to the reporters, what is permanence or perpetuality, perpetual, like our bodies. You should often think that my soul is perpetual. It's always reincarnated. Rebirth and rebirth is continuum. So that's permanence or continuum. And some people think that the world exists and the houses are forever, the cars, the diamonds are forever, and human beings also forever. And that's called the perpetuity or permanence. And what is the temporary or breakage or stoppage or impermanence? Like when I die, everything stops. I will not be reincarnated. I don't believe in Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, gods, spirits, ghosts, that I'm gone when I die. So that's stopping or breaking. And Nagarjuna's Madhyamaka is between the perpetuity and the breakage or stopping. And that's the middle way. Like for us, as mundane beings, Grandmaster got married, has a wife and children. That's the mundane life. But Grandmaster's spiritual life, spiritual self, transcended the mundanity. So I went beyond the mundanity. Although I dwell in the mundanity, like Sakyamuni Buddha. Sakyamuni Buddha's wife was called Yasudhara, and they give birth to a son called Rahula. And the Chinese translation is Lo Ho Lo. So it's Rahula. So the Buddha had the son, but he transcended the mundanity. He became a monk. So he had lived the mundane life, and then he also lived the enlightenment life. And once he had attainment, he came back and saved the mundane beings. So you abandon the mundanity, but after attainments, he returned to the mundanity to save the beings. So that's Madhyamaka. Why? Because he had walked on the outer-worldly path and he was enlightened. And then he returned to the mundanity to save sentient beings. So he did not abandon substantialism or existentialism or emptiness or nihilism. So he embrace both, and that's the middle way, or Madhyamaka.
那么这个火呢，我刚刚举一个例子，不是讲了吗？
So just now I set an I give an example of the fire that was ignited by rubbing the woods. Sakyamuni Buddha often said, like that fire, that everything arises due to the causes and conditions, and everything ceases due to the causes and conditions. And the nature, at the start, they are all emptiness. So if you realize the empty nature and Buddha nature, and then you get rid of all the causes and conditions, all the karma, then you would be able to see Buddha nature. So that's the viewpoint of Nagarjuna. So let me give you another example. When we were in elementary school, we performed this test. So you take a piece of paper and then you use the magnifying glass to focus the sun rays, and then you focus this to one point and place that point on the paper, and after a while the paper would be on fire. So the same question here. So is the fire on the sun rays? No, the sun rays don't have fire. So is the fire on the magnifying glass? No. Is the fire on the paper? No. So where did the fire come from? Because of the paper, the magnifying glass, and the sun rays, and the causes and condition of these three that caused the fire to appear. So all the substantialism, all the materials that exist in this world come from the causes and conditions. Like look at the earth. It's the same. It's going through formation, existence, deterioration, and emptiness. And look at human beings. Like I said yesterday, I have a photo of me, nude, that I haven't shown you when I was born. If you see it, then you would be able to see the peanut-like little bird. But that was Sheng-Yen Lu. At that time, I didn't take much pictures. Like in elementary school and junior high school and senior high school, I just have photo of my student IDs, college and graduation. So I probably only have 5 or 6 photos, but they were all Sheng-Yen Lu. And now the one seated here on the Dharma throne is also Sheng-Yen Lu. So which one is the real Sheng-Yen Lu? There is no Sheng-Yen Lu. So this affinity that was from the past, but the one here today is also an affinity. But one day, when he doesn't give Dharma teachings anymore, he doesn't write anymore, and his elements already dissipate, who is Sheng-Yen Lu then? None. So the affinities come from emptiness, and at the end we all return to the Buddha nature, to the empty nature. So all material things are like this. Cars, houses, real estate properties, anything anything is this way. Nothing is permanent. The only thing that is permanent is the Buddha nature and empty nature. So today, Nagarjuna told us what is permanence, what is eternal life. If you can truly confirm the empty nature and you comprehend the Buddha nature, you're enlightened already, that you have reached the enlightenment realm, then only then you can truly attain Buddhahood. So this is the Nagarjuna's way to attain Buddhahood through Madhyamaka, to comprehend, to recognize the Buddha nature. And because of that, he was like cloud in the sky with total ease and mastery. That's why he's called the Tathagata of the marvelous cloud self-mastery king. King of self-mastery. If you recognize the Buddha nature, then you would have that self-mastery. You would be totally at ease. Like Jesus said, if someone take your coat or your jacket, then you can give him your underwear too. If someone takes away my lama skirt, I will give you my underwear too. So Jesus said that. So Jesus did say that. If someone slapped your right face, then you can give him the left face too, the left cheek. Strange, why did Jesus say that? That's mine. What belongs to you? Anything? So Master Sheng-Yen was looking at me. So stand up. What thing belongs to you? Self. Come on, that's wrong. So you don't go bad? Then how could that yours? Are you sick? Life is yours. But you will die. So how could that belong to you? So you are more stupid than Tutansiddhi. So what belongs to you? Nothing. That would be the right answer. Please sit down. But let me tell you, nothing belongs to you. Nothing is yours. Nagarjuna told us that. So if you lose money, there's no need to be sad. So if you don't use it, someone else will use it. Is there anything to be sad about? So someone that got the money will be able to use it. So if you lose some money and then it's picked up by someone else and then used by them, it's fine. So what's the difference between you using the money and someone else using the money? if you can be at ease and at peace like this, then you would be like the marvelous cloud king of self-mastery Buddha, or the lotus light self-mastery Buddha. So that's the Buddha Dharma of the Buddha. It's the same of Buddha Dharma of the Nagarjuna. We all come from the affinity, and we all will return to emptiness one day. Don't think that whatever Grandmaster is wearing now, wow, this is the ruby, and there is the engrave of Grandmaster's name, Sheng-Yen, and also in English, Sheng-Yen Lu. So this is a very expensive ruby, and this was given to me by Master Lien Xing of Hong Kong. Where is she? So she had this made for me. And then here, Grandmaster also has a huge ruby, 29 carat. And who gave this to me? The princess of the Saudi Arabia, and also the president of Greenland Company. Please stand up. Dharma Sister Kuan Yin. Why do Grandmaster want to wear them? If I don't, they would be unhappy. Master Lien Xing, Dharma Sister Kuan Yin would be unhappy, right? So I have to wear them for them. I have to wear the rings for them. And sometimes I have to take turns, because if they give something to me and I don't wear them, they would ask, why aren't you wearing them? So I wear them to give happiness to other people, not for me. Because for me, they're like nothing. I view them as nothing. And the seat of the ruby, the ring, was made by my translator Hanifa. So she took this 29 carats ruby and went to a jewelry shop and had a ring made for it. And the owner said the ruby was a real one. Had it been without marks and clean and transparent, a 29 carat ruby, it would have been 100 million NT dollars. So let me tell you, but all rubies always have imperfections, and there's some cracks, and but when I wear it, nobody can tell that it's about to break, that it has some imperfections. So I just think that it's 100 million and you would be happy knowing it. And you're happy yourself and other people are happy, everybody's happy, everybody's at ease, and have mastery over themselves. Then that's the view of Madhyamaka, that everything is false. They are not real, but they are also real. Why? Because something that you never thought of. You think that this flower is beautiful and you pick it. And then you give it to your girlfriend. And this flower symbolizes my heart. And the girlfriend is happy. But you know, It's horrible. As soon as you pick the flower, the rose, it would cry out, ouch, it's painful. Because plants also have lives. Don't think that by eating vegetables, by being vegetarian, that you don't kill. So when you pull out a carrot, it would cry out, ouch. Because you are vegetarian and you eat veggies. So what kind of veggie is good for the blood? Beet. And what vegetable has the most iron? Spinach. As we know, Popeye. Spinach. They all have lives. When you pull out a bunch of spinach, it would cry out, oh no, I'm dead. When you cut off a branch, I need a burning wood, and you chop off a branch, the branch would be in pain. Oh no, my arm is broken off. Or you chop the root and then his leg is broken. So let me tell you, don't think that the rocks have no lives. Even all the minerals, they all have lives. They all have magnetic fields. Recently, I saw an ad in Taiwan. The powerful. And they cut off a huge rock. And then if you understand that there's a huge magnetic field of the rock, but if you cut it in half, then the magnetic fields become half. So all the rocks and metals and minerals and everything have lives. So not just the flesh and blood. So many people would wear bracelets and rings with magnetic fields to help with your own lives or health. Does it make sense? Yes. But the power is, it depends, because many of them are also fake. So they're all affinities, or the start of affinities. So if we talk about the 6 rebirth realms, that's wrong. We should say 8 rebirth realms. So it should include the world of the plants and the world of the minerals. Then the 8 rebirth realms would be accurate. But people only focus on the 6 realms. So the heavens, Asura, human, animals, hell, hungry ghosts. But you add the plants and the mineral realms. So 8 rebirth realms. If you use the equipment to test, the instrument to test, Qiao Penjian of Japan tested the plants, and now the science has progressed and they can test the minerals with instruments.
八道轮回，
So I say 8 rebirth realms, and in the future you would know
矿物跟植物
minerals and plants, they all have lives.
告诉大家，所有
So let me tell
都
you,
是非真，
everything is
所有的
not
一切也是非假。
true, but it's also not false.
所以龙树菩萨的宗
So
说，
the Madhyamaka of Nagarjuna says
皆是如是。
that everything is this, everything is like this.
中论里面有提到，
In the Madhyamaka Karika, it mentioned
善名
that
为
it starts with the causes and
一
conditions,
言而起，言起为中道。
and
结论是，
the affinity is the middle way.
菩提萨埵，菩萨
So
能
if there
够
is
了
a bodhisattva
无生
that can comprehend the non-rising, the non-ceasing,
必入
and the affinity and the causes and conditions,
日除暗斑，
so it's like the 5
无明
aggregates
佛果。
destroying all
我
the
们众生啊，
and all ignorance destroyed, and that you can
就
attain
是活
Buddhahood.
在这个境界里面。什
So
么境界？
all the human beings live in this realm. The realm of what? The realm that if it's not true, it's false. If it's not real, it's unreal.
但也
But
不
let
是
me
假
tell
的，
you, it's
只是
neither
因为缘起
true nor false. It's just due to the
你
affinity.
缘灭的时候啊，
When
一切
the
都归
affinity is
于空性。
gone, everything will return to emptiness.
你有修行，
If you cultivate spiritually, when the affinity ceases,
里面
then you would
你就
return to the empty nature.
就是永恒，
Then you would
就是无限
become
的力量。
the able one,
因为你就是
eternal,
龙树菩萨，
and you would be
大
infinite.
明菩萨
And then you would be Nagarjuna,
你也是
and you would be Asvaghosha,
上主，
and you would be the high
与
guru.
上主合一，你就是上主，你就是至上意识，
So when you merge with the utmost consciousness, then you would be the Yidam, you would be the Buddha.
只要你领悟了、开悟了，
Once you have gained
把
enlightenment,
自己人间的善恶言全部通通都
and
停止，
then you stop all
善
your
恶业全部通通都消失，
affinities, good or bad, in the world,
你就
and you eradicate them all, then you have attainments.
我问你，
Then you are a
地
Siddha.
球上有没有人啊？
See, I often ask this question. Are there people on the moon? Let me see who's looking at me.
没有人看我，
Nobody.
然后问师母好了，
So let me ask Simu.
月球上有没有人啊？
Are there people on the moon?
师母讲，月球上没有人。
And Simu replied, there are no human beings on the moon,
侦查整个月
because
球
based on the
最
science,
近的月球，
the moon is closest to the earth and there are no human beings there.
月球
Now let me ask you,
如果你在月球，
if you
月
are
球什么
on
叫
the
做善
moon,
恶？
what is good, what is bad on the moon?
请问月球有善恶吗？
On the moon, is there good or bad?
哎，怎么没有人回答？
How come nobody answers?
哦，没有，
No,
月球没有善恶。
there is no good nor bad on the moon.
月球有什么是素的，什么是荤的吗？
So let me ask you again, on the moon, is there eating meat or eating vegetarian? No.
月球有佛法吗？
On the moon, is there Buddha Dharma?
刚刚喊那么大声，
Who shouted so loud?
他也是你讲没有啊，
He said no, right?
哎，你怎么不回答？
How come now you didn't answer?
你是讲没有吗？是不是？
Did you say no?
你怎么不回答？
How come now you're quiet?
月球也一样没有佛法。
So
你真正
on the
研究
moon
到
there
最
is
深
no
的
Buddha
境界
Dharma. So if you study and research to the deepest realm,
周啊，
that Buddha Dharma is just the boat
讲得好，
to deliver sentient beings.
法因
In the Diamond Sutra,
非法，
it's written really well that you can
佛法都应该
abandon
舍弃
or
你真正成就
abandon the Buddha Dharma moreover
佛性，领悟了
anything else.
你
So
身上
once
善恶界除
you comprehend the Buddha nature and empty nature, and then you have resolved yourself from all the good or bad karma, then you're eternal
我们现在
in that
修
kind of
所
realm.
谓释迦行，上师相应，本尊
So the preliminary practices, Guru Yoga, Yidam, and then you practice non-leaking, inner fire, light drops. You practice the light, and then you practice the rainbow attainment,
修弘光
highest yoga tantra, and then rainbow
等你
attainment.
修成
attainment.
光化身的时候啊，寄身成佛的时候，
Once you attain the rainbow light attainment, and then you attain Buddhahood
在修本
in
尊
this
啊
lifetime, then there's no need to practice the preliminary practice and then the Guru Yoga or Yidam
也不用再修弥
or non-leaking, inner fire, light
因
drops,
为你本身
or
是光
generating light because you are light already.
哎，我讲偌久啊，
How long have I talked?
啊，1个半小时哦。啊我哪讲
An
到
hour
这
and
里
a half.
我本来讲
I
说讲
talk so
50分
much.
钟就好了。
I thought I would just talk for 50 minutes. So let me tell you, everything comes from causes and conditions. Even what we think or in our what's on our mind. So when we see the sour plum, then you start salivating. Wow. Just by seeing it, then your saliva's coming out because it's sour. I love to eat the tangerines because it's sour. Tangerines. So when you see the sour plum, you start salivating. See, that's what happens in your mind. So Buddha Dharma functions for the mind. So when you visualize, you purify your mind. When you recite the mantra, you purify your speech. When you form the mudra, you purify your body. So in Tantric Buddhism, we use these three purity or purification to practice until all of your karma or affinity, either good or bad, are completely cleared. Once you're purified, you will transform. Then you transform into the light, the clear light of the universe. In Tantrayana, there is attainment in this very lifetime, or with this body. So you can have attainments in this body. Or you can have attainments after death in the Bardo spirit, in the Bardo state. Then you can merge into the deities and have attainments. So that's attainments during Bardo state. So those were all great Buddha Dharma for attainments.
This is the in Buddhism, like a lady asked a gentleman why she saved her first, not his mother, and the gentleman said that if I save you, then the water drops, then my mom is safe. A man said that I will not drink wine anymore, and the diary says that wine is my enemy, and wife is my lover. And the wife say, if you see your enemy in the future, what will you do? Then when I meet my enemy, I will just give my life. What's this? This is also energy. A man from Taichung traveled to Mongolia, and he said that wow, the air was so fresh and it's so quiet. But I cannot bear such clean and fresh air and beautiful environment. And so the doctor gave the man from Taichung oxygen, but he got worse. Then since the doctors know that he was from Taichung, then they gave him the pipe of the car. And once he breathed the dirty air from the car, then he woke up again. And he said that, wow, this is the familiar air I used to be with. So yeah, so I would like to stay in Taiwan forever. This is also an analogy. This is in the past, the air in Taichung was so good, and why it was bad now? Because that's the fire power plant. This is also another example. Zhonghua Telecom, they calculate like how long people talk to each other. The average time men talk to men is 50 seconds, and to mother is and lady to lady It's 5 hours. 5 hours and husband to wife is 3 seconds. Wife to husband is 44 missing calls. And so this is also another analogy.
Next week is New Year. Oh no, so many people. So many people at the bank. So, and the bank said, I want 200,000 and not enough money. And then I said, how about 100,000? And then the employee replied, we have not that much. And I got angry. It's a huge bank and so many people already here. How come you don't even have 100,000? It's not that the bank doesn't have money. It's because you don't have enough money in your account. So if you don't cultivate spiritually, that means you don't have savings in your account because you don't practice and you don't cultivate spiritually. Then although you may have some insights or some inspiration, but your karma, your retributions are still there. That means you don't have enough savings in your account to go to the better realm. So in our spiritual cultivation, we want to practice to generate the money or the resources to be reborn into the Buddha lands.